Hi there, and welcome to my Fashion Stories Box podcast. I'm Catherine, and I'm so glad to welcome you here. So, let me introduce myself and what this podcast is going to be about. I'm French, and I'm currently living in Istanbul, Turkey, where I have been working in the fashion industry in different marketing positions for some years already. I am also a big fan of books and history, and at some points my two loves got mixed when I started to give fashion history classes in a fashion school here in Istanbul. So after some years and the many free time given by lockdowns and curfews, thank you, no thank you COVID-19, I thought, well, why not sharing my passions with others? And here it is. My Fashion Stories Box podcast was born. As you may already have guessed, this podcast will be about fashion and history and on how both have been interacting. But I don't want to be a boring academician, and I will really try to make fashion history sound funny and entertaining. Because I already see your faces and hear your styles. History. Boring. Well, not really. Just ask my students. In these podcasts, I will tell you stories. Stories about fashion, about the fashion world in the past, in the present, and yes, in the future. Together, we will discover how ancestors used to dress and the sometimes funny habits and accessories they had. I will also talk about fashion traditions and costumes around the world to see how diverse clothing can be. I will also do some reviews of books I really liked, historical movies and series, and see how well they did their homeworks when it comes to costume designs. We will also look at fashion weeks and designers' collection to hunt for historical and cultural inspiration. And I will also try to have interviews with designers to understand how they approach historical and cultural references in their design process. Fascinating, right? I can't wait to start telling you all of this, and I can't wait to exchange with you too. So feel free to subscribe to the podcast, to follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and to have a look at my blog to complete the podcast with some visual diaries. See you there! I am Catherine, and this is my Fashion Stories Box podcast, a podcast about stories in fashion history.